So, King Ohja episode 2, I just got done watching it and I had a lot of fun with this episode. Now, episode 2 was a Blue Ranger focused episode, and I gotta say, Yanma might already be my favorite Blue Ranger from what we've seen so far. Not favorite Blue Ranger of all time, but I'm liking this Blue Ranger from what we've seen so far. I think I prefer this guy over Saru Brother with what we got with Don Brothers. But Yanma is such a cool guy with the personality he brings and the swagger he brings. But not only that, his kingdom looks so freaking amazing, so beautiful. I know it was all CGI, but the vibes I got when I saw his city, it was like this cyberpunk vibes. I was getting futuristic vibes. It looks so cool. And I like how with like next week's episode preview we got, I know I'm jumping all over the place, like each kingdom has their own theme. I mean, Red Ranger's kingdom, that sort of like Attack on Titan vibes from ye old days. Yanma's kingdom, pretty much futuristic. Yellow Ranger's kingdom looks kind of like Disney princess-like with like the pastel colors on the buildings. And then you've got purples, which is like something I've joked about a lot, like from the north in Game of Thrones and Full Metal Alchemist with all the snow. But this episode I really enjoyed because, like I said, it was a Blue Ranger focused episode, and we get to meet the character in this episode. And yeah, he comes off as a dick, but he's a lovable dick, and I just like how he sort of presents himself with all his swagger. And in this episode, you kind of learn what this character's about, what he stands for, and although he like looks down on his kingdom or his people and calls them slimy tanukis, they all still have that mutual respect for the guy, and that's something I really do like. And I do like how he's got that scene where Raculus says that he's sort of declaring war on the Blue Ranger, on his kingdom, because of what happened in episode 1, because he chose not to alliance with him, and because of his actions it got a lot of people killed. So that turns like Blue Rangers like people against him, and we get this like comedic funny scene where he's having a hacking battle against him, and that was really silly, that was really goofy. But again, like, he stands up to Raculus like near the end of the episode and has that moment where he says, "If you stand against me, I'll beat you down with my stubbornness and my fists." And that pretty much establishes that character right there where, yeah, we've seen him be a stubborn dude, but he's ready to throw hands with anyone who defies him and his kingdom and goes to mess with him. He acts like he doesn't care for him, but that one moment shows that he does care for him. And then when he gets into like the big mech Zord battle at the end and near the end of the episode, his people are helping out by using all their laptops and sort of hacking him. And I really like that moment. And he also does say near the end of the episode, saying, "Hey, I believe, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, but my subs were like kind of like a couple of seconds off, so it was hard to follow it most of the time, because like characters would be talking and then the subs would show up like a second later, and then they keep talking, so I'd get really confused. But he has that line saying, "I view these people as my partners," and that sort of gives Gira that inspiration to have freaking Yanma to be his partner to take down Raculus, which I do like in the episode. And although like they don't come to that conclusion because they do get kidnapped by Yellow at the end of the episode, suddenly that's where it ends. Like, you can sort of see this alliance and this rivalry forming between these two characters. But like I said, I just love the swagger that the Blue Ranger gave off in this episode. And even though he's a dick, he is a dick that cares for his people, and that's what I liked about the character. Now, like I mentioned, I'm kind of jumping all over the place in this review because the episode did pick up where we last left off with Gira sort of being surrounded by all the knights, and he was about to be arrested, and Gira's like, "Haha, take me to the castle, I'll take you all on," because he's still doing that big villain act that he's doing, which is something that Yanma sees right past him. He's like, "You're not really evil." And we don't really get much of that, but I like how he's able to see through him. But one thing I do also like jumping back to the city, like the whole cyberpunk aesthetic, because we get a nighttime scene and we get a daytime scene to see how like cool this like atmosphere is with the city. And you kind of see like Raculus' knights and his sort of like henchmen, and they blend in with their sort of night themed. And then you've got sort of freaking Yama's people, and they sort of wear this like sort of like this shiny outfits, and they've got this tech on, these headphones on, so there's like a different contrast of all these different people from all these different kingdoms, which is something I do like, I will say that. But yeah, this episode was great. I really enjoyed it. Like, I don't know what else I can say about this episode. I don't know if I want to call it a review, because I'm just rambling. Like I said, this episode was kind of hard to follow with the subs being out of sync. They were in sync for a little bit, then halfway through the episode, they kind of go out of sync. But, like I said, this episode was pretty great. Like I said, it establishes the Blue Ranger and we learn what he's about. And so far, he might be my favorite character in the show so far. Gear is really cool because he's like Red Ranger. You gotta love him by default, depending on how your stance is on Red Rangers. But like Yama, he's like so cool and I like him. Like, I feel like Yadma and Dabowski I might like once we meet him. Dabowski I'm banking on being like a cool Black Ranger once we get around to him, but freaking Yama, like the pompadour and sort of like the tech and the outfit that he wears and sort of his nature of things with like how stubborn he is, like he's got the pompadour, the Josuke attitude. I just love the dude. Really freaking awesome character. But yeah, this episode had some really great fight scenes. We got to meet the mooks, the putties, the grunts, whatever you want to call them, and they're okay. They've got swords, they've got guns. Their guns are really interesting, I will say that. There's this moment where they start shooting, and it looks like they're sort of shooting fleas at them, because like little tiny bugs look like they were flying out of the guns. I could be overseeing it, but that's what it looked like to me. But we got to sort of see Yama more for the first time, and that was really cool in the episode. I really enjoyed that. I think his suit looks really freaking cool. I'm digging it. I might have to get those figures later down the line, whether they be the vinyls or just like the action figures. But episode 2 of King Ohja I really freaking enjoyed. I'm just sort of vibing with the show to see where it's going to go so far, because we've got to establish our team. Next week we're meeting the Yellow Ranger, so the first like 5 episodes we're going to be meeting our cast of characters and seeing what they're about. I mean, we haven't even gotten an opening yet, and I'm guessing we'll get the opening once we meet the cast. And I'm not the biggest guy who's followed Sentai week to week. I've only seen a couple of series from start to finish, but what's the longest we've gone in a Sentai without actually seeing the opening? Because sometimes we don't get it right away, sometimes we do, and if we are building up towards the opening once we form the team together, but what's the longest we've ever gone, just out of curiosity? Tell me down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, or your insight on that. But yeah, episode 2, really great. This show looks beautiful. With all the CG they're looking, I like the world building they're doing and the character interactions and stuff like that. Really freaking great. But what did you guys think of episode 2? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching episode 1. It did really great, and I'm hoping we keep up this momentum with episode 2 and other reviews moving forward. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care. Bye.